most, Jenna, as always. Welcome back. So we are doing a quick review video number 3, and this is the made-for-TV movie edition brought to us by Amazon Prime. Yeah, I've been binging a lot of Amazon Prime lately. I really have. But yeah, so I kind of started watching a couple of made-for-TV movies that they actually have up on Prime, and I did not even intend to watch so many made-for-TV movies, but it kind of started out, I had come across a movie that I ended up putting on my watch list called Out on the Edge, and that, of course, because of that, Prime was kind of recommending me a couple of different movies, and I just fell into the mode of, hey, let's watch some made-for-TV movies. So this is going to be a little treat for you guys. I know oftentimes I have kind of said, referenced things such as made-for-TV movies / after-school specials. So I figured, you know what, this is a treat for you guys, especially for some of you youngins, the younger crowd and everything, who may not be really fully aware of the made-for-TV movie and the cheesiness and just the way you get sucked into watching these. I mean, I think of like Hallmark or Lifetime movies, although I feel like now it's more like Hallmark type movies. These are not like the greatest quality of movies, but you get sucked in. So let's go ahead and start talking about a couple of these movies. Like I mentioned, I started out watching Out on the Edge. Came out in 1991, starring Ricky Schroeder from Silver Spoons, which was a show from like late 70s to early 80s or so. Huge show. I remember watching that show and everything. Loved it. But yeah, this is part of, or I should say, this is, like I said, starring Ricky Schroeder. Sort of after Silver Spoons had been canceled. You could tell he was kind of trying to branch out, get some work and everything. And honestly, telling the truth, I think he was wonderful in this movie. He was terrific in this movie. Movie itself actually was not really that bad. Going in, I kind of figured, I'm like, okay, this once again, made-for-TV movie. I remember made-for-TV movies back in the day. They're not always the greatest. I mean, think a lot of you guys, like Stephen King made-for-TV movies, Tommyknockers, The Stand, Langoliers, list goes on and on. They're not always the best quality, but they suck you in. This one is definitely about a teen whose parents have been split up. And by the way, this actually does have the young lady who is in part 2 of Nightmare on Elm Street. She plays the sister. Her name is escaping me. Jesse's girlfriend in the movie. She's really terrific in this movie, and let me tell you, man, I thought she was beautiful in Nightmare Part 2. She is stunning in this. I'm just saying. I have to get that out there, but yeah, so he's a little bit troubled, kind of finding his way. There's a lot of things he's sort of holding inside and everything. His mother doesn't really know what to do. His father, kind of has his own life and thinks he's kind of doing a good job as a father, but we kind of, realize throughout the movie, Ricky Schroeder's character definitely has issues with parents and everything, and hence why he's so angry and everything, and just the different sort of things that are going on. So his mother is sort of in a way coerced to put him in sort of like this mental institution, this hospital and everything, that will correct your kids. They will make them right and everything. Now, interesting with this movie is, you do see Ricky Schroeder's character who, he's just, he just needs a little guidance, needs a little therapy. They initially tried therapy with him, but he kind of walked out on the session and stuff, but just really, just needed someone to have, be able to open up to and everything and kind of start resolving some of his issues and everything. But something I liked about this is that when he was in the hospital, there was an orderly who kind of saw the good in kids and everything. Think of sort of like Larry Fishburne from Nightmare Part 3, kind of sees good in these kids and everything, just realizes they need a little bit of confidence, they need maybe that adult in their life that will, just show a little bit of like care for them and everything. And also to the therapist, the female therapist that's in here also is kind of the same thing where it's like, okay, wait a second, like, some of these kids, like, yeah, they may just need, like, more of, like, an outpatient type program, a couple therapy sessions a week, don't really need to be in here. I think we need to find the kids who really need to be in here and help them out. A lot of these kids, like, yeah, they need a little help, but they could be treated with outpatient and everything. Her struggles with, like, the hospital and everything, and her boss, kind of like the director of the ward, being like, don't undermine us, these kids, like, if you want to get paid, you just get all the kids that you can in here and everything. So little things like that, even for back in 91, kind of admitting some of this stuff of, like, the healthcare system is a business, and they don't really care. They just want to send kids, get people in to get paid and stuff, so bravo for them to kind of conquer that, tackle that back in 91. So, but no, it's definitely a really good one, you guys. This is one that I would definitely recommend to you guys check out, especially to if your area has been kind of like me out here, where we've been having a lot of, like, rain, cloudy days and everything. I mean, I can only watch so much, like, horror movies on these days, so I think hence why I was kind of going for, I was getting hooked on these made-for-TV movies. Definitely check it out. Like I said, Amazon Prime. All these are going to be on Amazon Prime. Second one that I'm going to be talking about, which actually came up in the little corner as, like, the next recommendation with the credits of Out on the Edge, is actually called And Your Name is Jonah from 1979, and this actually stars James Wood and Sally Struthers. A lot of you are going to really know James Wood in this and everything. I'm assuming one of his early roles and everything, so, but whatever. But this is about about a family who have a young son who they're actually, beginning of the movie, we see he's in a, sort of like a foster home, or, somewhere where there's a lot of other kids and everything. Here's the thing that we find out. For 3+ years, a little over 3.5 years, this kid was misdiagnosed as being mentally challenged, mentally handicapped, not fully abled individual, young kid and everything. Come to find out, that's not what is wrong with him. He is actually deaf. So yeah, so parents are a little furious. They bring him home and everything. They start looking at different options of what to do and everything, how to communicate with the kid, and the struggles that they have, because, they're getting frustrated. They can't communicate with their son. They're trying, conflicts between Sally Struthers and James Wood's character and everything, and it just, and there is one point, too, because, like, the kid, who, I mean, obviously can't hear anything, but definitely is making a connection with, like, the grandfather, because they're Greek or something along the lines of Greek or something, so they're very, like, animated, they're always dancing and everything, feels a connection, and there is a heartbreaking scene in this and everything, and then it's kind of like, how do you, explain to a child who's deaf about a very serious situation, but it's also part of life. Like, how do you do that? I don't want to necessarily say what happens, because I don't want to totally spoil it, but it's like, it's part of life. Like I said, what happens in here is part of life, and with something like that, and someone who this kid really looks up to, it's like, oh my gosh, like, how do you explain this, so it's so heart-wrenching. Really good, you guys. Another one that I really kind of got sucked into that's, it's kind of cheesy, but it's pretty decent. Next one up is from 1978 called Sunrise. This is based on a true story about a family who have an autistic son. So yeah, 78, talking about autism. I know autism now is all over the place and everything. And I kind of want to mention this one too, because of, the autism and everything, huge now and everything. But for a movie to come out in 78 about this subject, wow, props and everything. And this family too is, the movie shows kind of like how this family's dealing with this, how they're trying to work with their kid and everything, of seeing what they can do, even going to, like, doctors and stuff, like, oh, okay, this, we find that this is kind of what works, kind of gets a response, and, helps him kind of, like, communicate with us, and us communicating with him, and then being shut down, being told, like, oh, well, you're mimicking him, and that's why you're getting a response. Just, like, the doctor's just kind of, like, dismissing them because, they're the doctors, not this family. I mean, once again, it's a pretty decent one, very touching. So, like, honestly, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Check it out, you guys. Like I said, I know, it's a made from TV movie. Whatever, whatever. Last and final one, and I want to talk about, actually, was watching it last night. Although, like, about a couple weeks ago, depending on when I post this. But this one is called Daddy. It's from 1987. It has Patricia Arquette, presumably like right after Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. So yeah, this is about obviously it is a teen pregnancy film. Patricia Arquette's character and her boyfriend are in high school. They get pregnant. I mean, in normal, like, high school romances, they kind of fool around, but, especially the guy doesn't really seem to be that interested. He's just kind of like, okay, like one of those things where he's like dating a couple different girls, kind of seeing, testing the field and everything. And like I said, Patricia Arquette's character gets pregnant and everything. And both of these characters, there's like seniors, and, they're getting accepted to college and everything. Like, he is a musician and everything, gets accepted to a really good musical school out in Boston or something, or Massachusetts, have their whole life ahead of them. And I gotta say, this one, I give it a lot of credit for being pretty accurate, really accurate, in terms of, not everyone's gonna have the easiest uh you know support system, or the easiest way to, actually have a baby so young. Not always going to have full supports, family and friends and everything, or even, the baby's parents, biological parents and everything. So, so I do give this one a lot of credit for not, being kind of like sugarcoating it, basically, of like, oh my gosh, my teenager's gonna have a baby, and like, oh, it's gonna be all okay, and like, no, not everything's gonna be okay. Like, by the end of it, you kind of see like they're, even up till, after having the baby and everything, they're both like, we're both gonna go to college, like, we're gonna do this. And you see, like, okay, yeah, realistically, they show, like, yeah, realistically, your plans are literally gonna be put on hold. Like, just because you've been accepted to this, or gonna do this, you know what, because you had a baby, you might not be able to, pursue that at the moment. Like, babies take time, they are difficult, it's, even the relationships, it's difficult. And it's like, to show different sort of ways that these kids and the people around them are being affected by this, and their actions and everything. So it is just really, really a decent one. And I know not everyone, is going to go through this exact same experience, but I know many people who have, or almost just as difficult. They might luck out and have someone who can maybe take them in, or have, like, at least some, like, financial support, or this or that or whatever. But not everyone has someone who's going to accept them and give them an easy ride and helping them raise a baby. So I'm just saying, so for a movie that came out in 1987, pretty accurate portrayal of teen parenthood and everything. So definitely, I would probably say Daddy and Out on the Edge. Probably, if you're gonna watch any of these, those would probably be my two picks to definitely at least check out on Amazon Prime. So they're pretty decent. Like I said, I got sucked into them. They're pretty good. So definitely check them out, you guys. Till next time, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.